Hello, everybody. Well, welcome. It is the Freelancer with Jake, who is dying.
So dead.
We are here again with the Dark Council podcast, our last one of 2024. And, well, we have a unique topic for today. It is still within our little purview of it still revolves around our little our topic train of talking about Imperial Warlords. So this one holds some precedence in our topic lineup, but it's not it. That's the best way to put it.
Go on.
So this one has an interesting bit of this one holds some traction to it. This one holds some traction to what it's about. So before we get into it, the quick reminder of the fact that we are going to be tomorrow live talking about Thrawn, the new book that Timothy's on, the book for Canon Thrawn in his origins, how he got into the Empire and all that noise. We will be fully discussing that book tomorrow. Both me and Jake are about finished with it. I'll probably be sitting here listening to it after stream while I'm fucking around.
Yeah, same.
Because I've got like less than 2 hours on this thing, so I can probably squeeze that out the rest of this afternoon.
Yep.
But
it will be finished by tomorrow.
Yeah, it will be all done. For me, it was mostly just a read back through anyway. Like, I've gone through this book so fucking much. This is
I have books like that.
Easily one of my this one sits in my like top 10, top 5 books. Especially when it comes to Star Wars, it's definitely in my top 5.
That's fair.
But podcast, the book club episode for tomorrow. First book club session will be tomorrow on the 29th. We'll be doing that around the same time we do the podcast. So tune in for that. And also make sure you poke in on all the latest playthroughs we've been doing. We got the Zinj playthrough, which last episode we actually the episode that'll go up today, actually, we finally have near full control of the core. We have Coruscant, we have Karita, and we took Kuat.
Nice.
We also killed our first warlord leader. We killed Artis Kane in that episode. So the Pentastar's leadership is dead.
When's Kessel?
I'm expressly saving Kessel for when I go for the Hutts.
Monster.
The Hutts earn their own bit. I'm taking the unknown regents before I take out the Hutts. The Hutts will get their due.
I'm saving the Hutts for last, dog.
For all the pain that playthrough has given me.
I'm saving them for last.
Also got a couple polls up. One's for the next Thrawn's Revenge playthrough after Zinj, and probably when when the 3.5 update drops. Whichever will come first, whether I end Zinj. At the rate I'm going, I may be able to end Zinj before 3.5 comes out, because I doubt that's gonna release before the end of the summer next year. Because Revan's Revenge will actually come out first, which is the other one I've got a poll for.
Yep, and it would be real funny if someone was to tip those polls to being Republic. That would be hilarious.
He says this expressly because I stated the Republic is the one I am not interested in.
Yup, it'll be so funny. It'll be funny for everyone but you. So, sure would be a shame if people were to start voting for the Republic.
Yeah, well, top of that, we are also looking at the other the Awakening of the Clone Wars series, which that one's been popping off. I've get a lot of people who've come in just through seeing that, and one hand, welcome to you all. On the other hand, so much thank you that y'all have started giving me more drive to keep this stuff going. Like y'all,
Hell yeah.
like the more people I get going, the harder this drive goes. So put more fuel on that fire, people.
Hell yeah.
Tell you, then I
Burn his ass to a crisp.
burn it. Turn this rump to dust, ash, reduced to atoms.
Reduced to atoms.
Take this ass and go nuclear with it.
That, oh, don't. Ooh, no. You said that out loud now. You said that out loud. It's there forever.
It's there forever. Do with that what you will. Do with that what you will.
Oh no. You heard it here first, guys. He said specifically, due to this ass what you will.
But yeah, no, we're gonna be talking up. We're talking up a new topic today. So aside from all the YouTube stuff and the talk about the podcast, talk about that, some of the future ideas that I'll probably talk about later because they will involve you. Because one of them is us getting back to SWTOR, and the other one is starting up a new series that a game got a lot of content in as of recent, as you were quick to remind us.
Oh.
Cause you got me to fucking reinstall Power World again, you bastard.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing
legally distinct Pokemon.
We're gonna be playing a Power World series, which I hope you understand. Whenever we finish that, means that right after that, I'm kicking your ass to a Soul Link Nuzlocke. We're gonna do a Soul Link Nuzlocke in Infinite Fusions.
I like how you say that you're going to kick my ass to it, but really what I'm going to do is bog your team down so hard.
Last I checked, I was the one bogging yours down in our
Okay. So first off, Dan was carrying so hard.
Dan got lucky every single one of his runs. Dude,
Okay,
I had that one motherfucker. One motherfucker would get that lucky crit in.
I don't think you would understand. Dan's luck is unreal.
Dan's luck is dude. We see it in Magic.
Fucking everything.
We see it in
yet
freaking.
For some reason, I'm like, dude, play the lottery, gamble, motherfucker. He's like, nah, you motherfucker, do it.
Dude, he gets so much money.
You're the luckiest motherfucker I know.
I get
crazy.
I get like dumb luck. I get like stupid luck. He just has the luck. He is like.
He has a permanent luck stat increase.
He's the motherfucker that when he plays Fallout, he specs only into luck.
He's done that. He's done that.
Of fucking course he has.
He's spec'd it entirely into luck and strength, and he's like, "This is all I need.
Oh my god.
That's all I need.
Oh my
All I need are these hands and idiot savant. That's all I need."
God damn it. Whatever.
I need these hands, idiot savant, and so much jet.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have a couple series popping up come this next year. There's gonna be a lot going on with this show because YouTube side will be fucking busy.
New year, better content.
New year, more content. We'll eventually get to better content because eventually I do want to. We're trying to improve the content slowly but steadily as I'm learning how to do this as a one-man show, but I'm working on it, guys.
Hell yeah. Get you some.
We're getting there.
Catch a ride.
So
fucking sick. Oh, my
but
gelatin.
all that word jumble out of the way. I think it's time we actually talk about our what this episode is. So let's because this isn't Dark Empire. I was gonna do Dark Empire originally, and then I thought about it more, and I looked at a bunch of the stuff that's been coming out over the last couple weeks, and I'm like, maybe. So this got me to consider this topic idea. So I bring this up to you now. One, I'm gonna have you. We're gonna do our guessing game because this is not and of course the only hint you get is that it's tied to the warlords.
You're gonna do this to me.
Yes.
The day I am feeling
the day that you,
sensitive.
the day on your brain death, the day on your nearly brain death.
Do this to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. I can't believe it. Oh,
All right.
It's warlord related.
It's warlord related, and it is not Dark Empire.
Is it a warlord?
It involves a warlord.
Oh, it's super unhelpful.
The last hint I give you, because I've already given you two, the fact that it's not Dark Empire and the fact that it is a story that involves a warlord. The other bit I will give you is that this is a force sensitive warlord. Or at least part of this story involves a force sensitive warlord. And he has been mentioned in our big list of... He has been mentioned in our big list here.
Yup. I remember talking about a sensitive warlord, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay,
There's two of them.
My guess is that it's one of them.
I will note that it is... That... that the only other two warlords that are possible, one comes out, both of them technically come and die after Dark Empire.
Okay.
But their stories start well before that.
Fuck, man. I don't know. You got me dead to rights. I got nothing, dude.
Today,
I almost said Crate. I'm like, that's not right.
Nope.
It's not Crate.
No, Crate is Legends, and trust me, he will get his own video when we actually talk about Legacy Era. When we talk about Legacy Era, Crate and his empire will be a whole video.
Fucking better.
That whole, right. I want to get into Legacy Era so bad, but that's not what we're talking about today. So, the thing that has been coming up a lot more recently is this gameplay showing of unreleased Wii version Battlefront 3 footage, and two of the characters that came out for this were X1 and X2. Our topics for today:
Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's been unreleased footage of gameplay circling the internet within this month of unreleased footage of a Wii port for the unfinished game Star Wars Battlefront 3 made by Free Radical. Before Free Radical went bankrupt and they cut content for the game, the only thing we had to go on for the longest time was an Xbox 360 footage that made the game look way more unfinished. This Wii version, so much cleaner, shockingly enough.
But I'm sure it plays like shit because it's the Wii.
Well, that helps with this one comes with the aid of emulation, because there's actually a mod running around there's actually a mod you can run around with it and play it through an emulator on Dolphin. So you can play the full entirety of Battlefront, the full gameplay that has been put on display of Battlefront 3 in its unreleased entirety. And God, that's something I will probably show off at some point, but
this okay. I looked, okay, so I was like, I'm curious, I gotta see what this Wii footage is. This is just the same footage they released 6 years ago. This was the already leaked footage.
Yeah, they have shown it in a much more complete state, though. Because apparently the Wii port had much more completed standing than the 360 footage we got shown a few years back.
I guess, because I'm looking at it and it's the same exact thing. From Coruscant ground into space.
There's... Yeah, it's the same engine. Like, it's all the same game, but there's more... It's a more complete showing, I guess, is what the difference is. Because this one shows, like, so much more of the... This one shows a bit more of the game in its entirety, but there's... That's not the... That part is unfortunately not the topic, and that may end up being a discussion in the future. I don't know. We may do a whole thing about Star Wars and its unreleased titles.
Oh my God, that would take forever.
Yeah, I know it would. I know it would. It's a painful existence for us Star Wars gamers.
That would take almost as much time as to talk about all released titles.
No, it'd take more.
Oh, there's a lot of fucking garbage one-shot little nonsense titles. Like what was the Twisted Metal one?
Like Star Wars. It was. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. I know which one you're talking about because it had the dumb fucking tank in there. It had like the dumbest fucking tank you could drive in there.
Dude, it had an AT-ST that was so fast.
You could drive an AAT. You could drive the fucking droid tank.
Yup.
But neither. We're talking specifically today about the characters who were brought up into this one. The two infamous Force-sensitive clones, X1 and X2.
Terrible names.
So these two were unique amongst their clone brethren in that they were obviously they had some weird sense of Force sensitivity that they don't discover until way later on. So they, for the longest time, were serving under a Jedi Master who I'm going to quick look up the name for because I am blanking on what his name was. Feroda, that's who it was. Jedi Master Feroda. He was a Pantoran Jedi Master who served in the Clone Wars. He was, of course, one of the many who were killed during Order 66 and met his fate on the planet Cato Nemoidia. The clones X2 and X1 were... The clones X2 and X1 were under his command, and unbeknownst to either of them, they were actually... What would be the way to describe it? In a very interesting dichotomy. To put it in a way, X1 and X2 were basically twins in their own sense. Like, the clones are all supposed to be brothers with each other, but these two in particular were made as a special batch. And
not the Bad Batch.
No. Though the group did have the two did have their own sense of differences that made them different. Obviously, X2 was the I guess you'd say more soft-hearted and is more kind individual. X1 was obviously the more tactical and cold-hearted of the two, because when it came to Order 66 and the Order falling through, X1 and X2 had very different standings at first about the Order, but it was only when Furoda was about to kill X1 that X2 stood up and actually took out Jedi Master Furoda. It was not the Order, it was not the design for Order 66 itself. It was only through his own like defense, his own like personal initiative that had him seek to kill Furoda when his brother was about to be cut down, essentially. Eventually, the two clones were originally stationed on Tatooine, where they met Furoda, is where their story actually kind of kicks off. They're on a Republic garrison on Tatooine, and the droid army hits it, and that's where their first battle really comes in.
God,
but we see it.
Tatooine.
Well, you start with the sand plan, and you get the ones later. You get better ones later, is how that order's supposed to go. Only now has Disney finally taken that note, because good lord, the Skeleton Crew planets have been amazing. Except for Star Wars Suburbia. We don't care about that. That was a questionable life choice. That was a questionable life choice, and you all know it.
That sucks, dude.
It was more interesting when we saw it look like Ukraine for a minute. Because
with the Russians and everything.
I mean, it was more that I'll be able to talk more about it in the episode. I guess it'll actually be end of next month. I guess it'll be end of next month when I can actually cover the full thing. If they go 8 episodes, it'll be the 18th. Will probably be when I do. It'll be the 25th, because I'll let like a week sit before when the ending comes, when the finale for Skeleton Crew hits. If it's a 8 episode and they don't push it past 8, I will probably do the finale episode on the 25th of January. I'll probably do like my whole like grand review of Skeleton Crew and get to talk to you about that, because I have been thoroughly enjoying this one. It's actually been a treat.
That's crazy.
Like I've become more pleasantly surprised by this show more and more, so I'm interested in actually getting to talk about that one when it finally releases. It fully is out there for the public. But yeah, so X1 and X2 are supposed to be the X1 and X2, after killing Furoda, Cato Neimoidia, would go on to join the ranks of the Stormtroopers. They would actually become commanders for the Imperial Army, leading Stormtroopers who once were among their brothers, now starting to line up with units not familiar to them. For X1, this didn't bother him as much, as he saw a path to power in the Empire, and he saw justice and glory within serving it. X2, however, started to become more of the disillusion. He became the typical Empire's doing some fuck shit. I don't feel good about any of this. Nothing good about this here. And it was during a mission to Dantooine where X2 would come across a fugitive Jedi that they specifically were sent to hunt. On the planet, the brothers would actually come to learn that the Jedi they were sent to hunt was in fact their father, a rogue Jedi known as Fallon Gray. He was apparently in hiding on the agricultural world of Dantooine, and when the Empire came to hunt him down, X2 and X1 were the troopers leading the squads of stormtroopers after him. During this battle, X2 would actually X1 was eager to catch the Jedi and kill him. However, it was when everything started getting real, when Fallon Gray actually tried to help civvies get off world. He was like, yeah, I'm not okay with any of this anymore. So X2 started to lash out against his brother, and that's when X1 killed them all.
Had a Joker moment.
Now, Fallon Gray had managed to survive after X1 departed, but his last act was using his force healing abilities to basically resurrect or resuscitate X2 from dying. He managed to keep the clone of himself from dying in his final moments using the force healing technique. At the cost of his own life, he would perish alongside many of the civilians who were unfortunate enough to not escape the planet. X2, however, was left abandoned on the planet. He would spend 15 years on said planet until one day I'd say he's pretty infamous. It's a pretty infamous guy. The former Jedi Master Rom Koda would come to approach X2.
Rom Koda, why does he sound familiar?
Force Unleashed. He's the old Jedi dude who didn't like clones.
Yep, okay.
Yep. And apparently, this game, the Battlefront Elite Squadron game, was technically where this lore kind of got ported to, because they never made Battlefront 3. This is where all their lore kind of got ported to. Apparently, Fallon Gray was actually a Padawan of Rom Koda. So when X2 was found by Koda several years after being left on Dantooine and becoming a simple farmer on the planet, Koda approached him to recruit X2 into the Alliance to restore the Republic. And it was with the help of the Jedi Master that X2 was able to soon find his footing again. X1, on the other hand, had started to figure his own side of things. So X2 would actually go on after escaping Dantooine with Rom Koda, when a group of pirates actually showed up to attack him on the planet. Koda and X2 escaped and would be sent to Geonosis, where they would later on go to save a group of rebels and actually reawaken the old droid factory to use against the Imperial forces that were on their way. After saving the group of rebels, X2 managed to form them into his own unit of soldiers, naming the unit Gray Squadron. X2 became the commander of Gray Squadron in honor of his fallen father and Koda's Padawan, Fallon Gray.
Okay.
So X2 and Gray Squadron would go on to serve in various major battles across the Galactic Civil War period, including the Battle of Yavin, Hoth, and later Endor. He was pretty much at every key engagement across canon.
So what I'm hearing is he's important.
He's kind of important, but he is in the sense that he is a more background piece than he is a frontline character.
Yeah.
He does.
People probably don't know who he is.
He's a big name if you're somebody who's deep into the games and everything. If you're into the game lore, the lore that the games provide, he's someone kind of big. But outside that, he's not anybody super special. Because most of his deeds are done alongside all the other big events that are going on. So he serves as a integral background piece. But I guess if you look at it, that's kind of how Kyle Katarn is. Kyle Katarn's a big name in Star Wars, but at the end of the day, he's not. He doesn't have a big role in any of the main events throughout Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
He does a lot of the cool background stuff, but he's never in any of the big pieces of Star Wars lore. Like, outside the Vong War, he really doesn't show up in anything. The games are really his only big source of material until you really look at, like, New Jedi Order period. And he starts becoming a Jedi Master himself. He really doesn't serve that much of a role when you look at it more realistically. Like, obviously Kyle Katarn's a fucking badass in all the stuff he does, but when you look at it on the grander scale, he's just another face in the annals of Star Wars lore.
Yep.
But during the Hoth battle, X2 would actually have his first face-off with his brother at this point in time, to which X2 had actually started his Jedi training and was starting to learn to become a Jedi proper. He would face off against X1 on board his Star Destroyer and would best him in combat, scarring his brother horribly for that one. I think he actually takes his arm off in the battle before he departs, and X1 sets the Star Destroyer to explode.
Oof.
Or he escapes with it. I don't remember which way it goes. But X2 later goes on to face his brother again at the Battle of Endor. This time, once again, I guess he actually does get his Star Destroyer still, so he would actually have his Star Destroyer in that one. Because I think he has his Star Destroyer at Endor. I think is where he actually fights him. Trying to look back through, because the two of them have a lot of back and forth encounters throughout their whole bit of lore, essentially. It's kind of like after Hoth, they kind of have like a recurring on again, off again thing, but I don't remember if he fights him at X. I remember he gets another fight with him before the big final fight they have. I thought there was one sometime later. That's right. So they do have their duel on X1 Star Destroyer, which was identified at, which does actually have a name, surprisingly. X1 Star Destroyer was called the Avarice.
That's a cool name for Star Destroyer.
The Avarice was the name of the Star Destroyer that X1 was serving on. And X2 had actually led Gray Squadron to take out a bunch of... He basically had them taking out a bunch of the key systems when he had he had that Obi-Wan moment where he sensed a sense that presence he hasn't felt in a long time.
Yep.
And he goes off to confront X1 on the Avarice. The explosion of those thermal detonators that Gray Squadron uses to basically rock the power plants of the Star Destroyer.
Okay.
They hit him in the... He sets him across key points across the Star Destroyer, and he goes off to face X1. He finds out that X1 had actually started his... he did actually have... his own... I think at this point he did have his own form of force training. I don't remember specifically if he does, because I know it's at one point he starts learning. I think at this one he's learned part of it. I don't think he's on the level X2 was at this point, because X2's been spending the last few years training. X1, I think, only had it fairly recently by this point. Like, he had just started receiving training directly from Vader, was, I think, who he was learning from. Which was another reason I think he was there at Hoth, was he was one of the many apprentices, one of the many dark disciples who were learning from Vader. Because Vader had a lot of sacred apprentices and basically dark disciples who were either ousted or went off to do their own things in lore.
Yup.
So that could also be an interesting little topic to kind of figure out. Vader, all the secret apprentices of Sidious and Vader. Getting to talk about all of them, 'cause there's so many of those. But they fight it out on the Avarice in the engine control room. At this point, they are... It says... Yeah, no, in this battle, X1 appears, and he's actually armed with the lightsaber of Fallon Gray. He has actually taken Fallon Gray's lightsaber and is now using the Force. So the two of them fight it out on the Star Destroyer, and it's during that battle when the ship charges explode. X1 actually offers X2 to join him. Typical, we can take on the Empire and rule. We can help the galaxy see the true light, or some dumb shit like that. And X2 tried to reason him that the Empire's not cool, kids.
Empire not great, dude. Empire
X1, however, was too blinded by Vader's reasoning of, "Hey kids, the Empire's pretty cool." But yeah, he didn't exactly listen on that one. And so when the explosion detonated from the charges set by Gray Squadron, it gave X2 the distraction, and he ended up throwing X1 into the explosion, I think, is what happened.
Oof.
He sent him flung into the exploding engine control bay. And he used that to basically retreat from that battle. That was basically his window of like, all right, everything's bad, time to leave.
Bad here.
But he would later go... X2 obviously goes on to serve as one of the many rebel attack groups that fight in the Battle of Endor. Gray Squadron was in fact among the various rebel fighter squadrons that were in that battle. They were actually serving as the defense. They were actually the defending group for Akbar's flagship.
Oh, okay.
So they were actually serving as the defense team for that. They were also asked to they were also able to... They also joined up with another group from another Empire, another Star Wars Battlefront game, Renegade Squadron. X2 actually aids the members of Renegade Squadron on the surface of Endor. Because Renegade Squadron is another curious little oddity amongst the multitude of weird, obscure groups and characters in the video games.
Fair, because that's a video game I don't think I've heard of.
That was the one that was exclusive to the PSP, so that is understandable. This one also was. This one was actually exclusive. The 1X1 and X2 ended up in Elite Squadron was also exclusive to the PSP and the DS.
Ugh.
Yeah. The DS version, no. Why?
No.
Why? It's so bad. The PSP version is so much better.
Ugh.
I've actually played both. I have played both, which is the unfortunate part.
Let's take Battlefront, the game where there's lots of people, bots included, on screen majority of the time, and then put it on shit that doesn't run it well.
And it's not even what they did is the worst part.
Oh, no.
It's not even how they did it.
I need you to stop.
Because the PSP version plays it exactly like that. It is typical, like, the Elite Squadron game on PSP is probably as close as I would ever consider to this is what we could have had with a Battlefront 3. Because Elite Squadron did actually have ground to space combat.
God, dude, I remember seeing leaked footage of that. I want to say it was like a year after original Battlefront 2 came out, and I was like, holy shit, guys, it's gonna be so cool. And then because that footage got leaked, they canceled the game.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, actually, the reason was not official. The reason on the official side was it was because of the footage leak. However, it was actually because the company went bankrupt. Free Radical went belly up when they were making it, so they never got the chance to finish the game.
Awful.
Which was the actual reason why we never got Battlefront 3, was because Free Radical went belly up.
That sucks.
It's also why the only footage we have is the kind of messed up, unfinished messed up versions we saw from the 360 version.
Yeah. Guys, God damn it. That makes me so upset. That looked so cool.
Yeah. A lot of people were talking about when the Wii footage showed up that it was much better looking in all aspects. It was rough. But we'll deal with that later. We'll discuss the failings of Star Wars. We'll discuss the failings, the shortcomings, and the unfortunate never happens of Star Wars games at some point in the future. So X2 jumped to X2 was given the order to head to the forest moon of Endor and aid Renegade Squadron. And while Solo was destroying the bunker, Renegade Squadron was sent to actually Renegade Squadron was actually part of the group, I think, who joined up with Solo's group. What it's saying here? Renegade Squadron joins up with Solo's strike team, and they managed to take out the shield generator. Of course, we all know what happens. Lore-wise, Death Star is destroyed. Victory, the Republic is dead. And I know what I said. I know what I just said.
The Republic is dead. Are you sure?
I mean, the Republic was dead. Now the Empire is dead. Now we have the New Republic.
It's all dead.
It's all dead. Because even the New Republic doesn't stick around.
No.
They become the Galactic Alliance, which I think is an arguably dumber name.
It's so bad.
Of course, Vader dies. Luke returns. The Emperor's dead, or is he? But even though the Death Star was destroyed, there were still many Imperial forces lingering around the galaxy. And the battle on Endor was nowhere near over yet, because there were a pair of AT-ATs attacking the Ewok village. But with the aid of X2 coming to the Wookiees' defense, he was able to decimate the two walkers with some well-timed and well-placed shots from a rocket launcher.
That's all it takes, dude. Shoot it in the neck.
Everyone knows. Yeah. The neck is actually one of the two soft points, the neck and the underbelly.
Yeah. Everyone who's played Battlefront knows you shoot it in the neck.
Because they can't turn that fast. Nope. And if they turn that fast, they open the neck up even more. Light that bitch up. Boom, boom, boom. But you just
remember when Battlefront was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot take, I don't like the new Battlefronts.
Arguably, I like the 2015 one. I did actually enjoy the 2017 one. I was not a fan of the whole like loot box bullshit that they tried to do. I didn't care for that. But when they pulled that out, I was much more into it.
Yep.
I was much more into it at that point, so it was a much better experience for me. And it honestly, the game just got better after they started doing all the Clone Wars stuff. Like, as they started actually dipping into more of the Clone Wars stuff, it was so good. All the shenanigans you got to get up to and all the fun glitches that Grievous had. I probably still have a few of those clips lingering around somewhere. I had one moment. I got killed by somebody playing Grievous in the Heroes versus Villains mode that they have.
That's because Grievous is a monster.
I got fucking murked by Grievous, and you want to know what happened immediately after when he went to go crab crawl at me? His ass got stuck on the fucking corner. It was just stuck in crab crawl.
Haha.
It was fucking hilarious, and it was hella broken because he could still attack you in his normal animation.
Ugh.
It was awful, but it was the dumbest thing ever because you just look at him. You just look at this motherfucker stuck on the ground. He's just like, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna come and get you.
Give me them toes.
Heard you got a lightsaber. I'm gonna take it.
Fine addition to my collection. Fucking terrible.
It was so good. There's another dumb one I had. When I was playing in, it was a battle on Hoth. It was the big attack and defend mode, attack defender mode that they had. Galactic Assault, I think is what it was called. And they had their big, like, everyone can play all the heroes event thing going on, because they have. Occasionally they dropped this random point where you could have everybody playing the heroes. Like, because normally the game normally Galactic Assault only lets you do 4, Conquest only lets you do 2. Mm-hmm. But in Galactic Assault you could play all of them on the field. All heroes could be on the field. And there was one point I was flying around in a snowspeeder on Hoth, and the event was going on. I'd go and flying around trying to get this fucking AT-AT. I think I got one of them. I don't remember. I remember if I actually got that one or not, but I think I got like a Scout Walker or something on the way in. And I see this little dot flying up, and I'm like, I wonder if you could jet ram Boba Fett. Guess what? You can, in fact, jet ram Boba Fett.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I did. I painted his Mandalorian asshole from my fucking snow speeder.
Boba Fett, more like street pizza. Let's go.
It was so dumb. It was so great.
So dumb.
It was the greatest thing ever. I loved it. It's so good. Dude, honestly, if they didn't just cut support for it when they did, I'd have still been playing that game. I would have gladly thrown some money to them if they had kept doing what they were doing. Because even some of the stuff they did when they did the Rise of Skywalker update, dude, some of that was phenomenal. Some of the new units they added in and some of the new additions, the new map even, so good. And I would have killed to have more of that game. It sucked I was never going to get to have any more of the Starfighter stuff because Criterion went off to go work on... Criterion was working on Battlefield 5. They pulled Criterion off the live service team for Battlefront 2, so it was just that part of DICE working on it.
Yep.
But if they
got sent back to the Battlefield mines.
he got sent back to the Battlefield mines. And honestly, I'll be 100% here. I don't think outside the Jedi games, I don't see EA doing anything else with Star Wars anymore. I don't think they're going to do anything with Star Wars. But then again, they don't have the exclusivity to do that anymore.
No.
So
they had it, and then they ruined it because they didn't put anything out for like 4 years.
They had
exclusive rights to Star Wars. What are you making? Nothing. Fuck you, EA.
We got an MMO, 2 Battlefronts, and a Jedi game. We got a new action adventure. We got a flights. We got a... I was gonna say Squadrons was good, and then I thought about it more.
No. No.
Yeah, Squadrons
right,
was...
think about it more.
Squadrons needed a lot more time in the oven.
Yep, and then they're like, you know what? Good enough. Move on to the next game.
That's the worst part is they did just, we're like, yeah, we're only gonna do like a little bit for this game, and then you guys just have the game. Like that's it. We're not gonna actually do anything else with it. There's not gonna be any more updates. There's no future content. Like, we're gonna drop like 1 or 2 things, and that's it.
And normally that's fine, but that game has no real like
longevity
loop.
It's
in order to keep people.
It doesn't have a
play.
replayability factor to it.
No.
Especially when you look at like the way the ranked mode ended up.
Oh yeah.
The way they're competitive, the way they tried to turn it into a Star Wars, and that's the part that I think got me, is they made Star Wars a MOBA with fucking starfighters. If you really fucking look at it, it's just a Star Wars MOBA with starfighters.
Yep.
Because you have your support, you've got your DPS, you've got your skirmisher, and you've got your tank.
Yep.
And then they added your extra skirmishers in the form. They added another skirmisher, and they added another tank in the form of the B-Wing and the... they had the B-Wing and the TIE Defender. It was the last bit of content we got for it.
Now, for those of you in the audience who play MOBAs, when he says skirmisher, he means jungler.
I refer to it as skirmisher because I don't...
Throwing that out there.
Because I don't play it like that. I'm not a jungler when I play those kinds of characters. I am a skirmisher. I jump in, I whack a motherfucker really hard, and then I piece the fuck out while with like 25 points of health.
That's crazy, because that's what a jungler does.
Difference is I don't go running through the jungle to do it.
Oh, then you're doing it wrong.
Probably, but then again, I mainly play the fucking range fighters and the warriors. I'm a DPS. I'm a DPS, not a tank.
Joke's on you. I play mid. Fuck you.
Nah, I can't fucking do mid. I can't do that. Put me on the flank. Put me on the flank, coach. I'll fuck him up.
Dog. Man, when I was playing League, hell yeah, dude. Give me Vigor. Just stick me in mid. I'm a happy boy.
Well, speaking of happy boys, it seems X2's life had started to pick up a little more to put us back on topic a little.
Yeah.
Because there's still a little bit, there's still some more we got to cover for him. So X2 at this point, following the destruction of the Death Star, had officially begun his tutelage as a Jedi, and had gained his official status as a Jedi Knight and a new lightsaber under the mentorship of Luke Skywalker. Because at this point, Kyle was not around doing Jedi stuff to actually teach him.
That's a shame, dude, because Kyle does a better job.
Of course, I also don't know exactly what happened to Coda, so... So I know he lives past his story in the Force Unleashed games. So I don't know. I don't remember what happens to Coda. I don't think he actually goes to join Luke's order, though.
Probably not, because the Force Unleashed isn't.
I mean, even if you look at the Legends story, you look at how Legends goes, because it's not, because if you look at the Legends story, he doesn't join Luke's store. There's no mention of him joining Luke's academy in Legends either.
No.
So I don't know, but following his status as a Jedi Knight, X2 also still maintained his commission as the leader of Grey Squadron. So he did still hold on to his title of Squadron Leader. And it was also during this time that he found out X1 was still alive and had determined to bring him to justice. Prior to that, however, he had been called upon by Lando Calrissian in order to help liberate Cloud City. Because the Empire had set up an occupation on Cloud City, and as we know, that was technically, if I recall, it's actually something that comes up in one of the Rogue Squadron games. Unless I'm mistaken, I think that's in one of the Rogue Squadron games where that actually happens. You actually see the Empire's occupation, or you go to help liberate it or something. Because there's like some cinematics that pop up of... Yeah, there's some cinematics of that in there, I think. I think it's in the second one? It's in the second or third, I think, because it's not in the first.
No, it's not in the first.
It's in one of... It's in the second. I think it's the second. Because I know the third is... I think the third is the one that takes place in exclusively the New Republic, because that's where you actually have Tycho in there.
Yeah.
I think you actually have Tycho as your squadron leader. You don't have Wedge as the squadron leader anymore. Because two as well is also the one where you actually hunt down the Super Star Destroyer, isn't it? You get to hunt down a Super Star Destroyer in one of those games.
Ooh, I think that one's 3.
Is 3 the one you hunt down Super Star Destroyer?
I think so.
Oh. I only
say that because I only played 3 for a little bit, because I had to rent it. Back when you could do that.
When you could do that, old person.
So I rented it, so I didn't play it for very long. So if it doesn't sound too familiar, it's probably 3, because I owned 1 and 2.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll jog our memory when we eventually talk about Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Because I do want to talk about them at some point.
God. What a good video game series. I wish it still was around and it wasn't fucking Squadrons.
Speaking of another game that also had a Wii port that never happened.
It's because the Wii sucked shit.
Look, I'm gonna come up to the defense. The Wii is nowhere near as bad as the Wii U was. The Wii U is arguably the worst console.
Yes.
I like the Wii, and I had a lot of fun playing a lot of the games on there. Hell, that was the first time I played Force Unleashed. I played the Wii version of Force Unleashed.
Oh no. Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I didn't have a 360 or a PS4 to play those versions.
Oh.
Or PS3, not PS4. I mean, I didn't have a PS4 either.
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
Look, it was the Wii in the first place was supposed to be the family's like game console because my parents bought it as like the gift for the family.
Yes.
And
the only good games on the Wii were primarily Nintendo games.
I'm not in the defense there. I'm not in that ballpark. There were a fair few games I genuinely enjoyed off the Wii that were not exclusively Nintendo. So I will share my own opinion and call myself out as the outlier in that argument.
All right, fall on this sword. What games are you talking about? We're doing it right now. I need to know.
Now I have to fucking jog my memory because I have to actually.
I'm killing you on this hill right now.
I mean, look, I've already been dead on this hill for a while, so.
I'm stringing up your corpse and using it like a punching bag. What games is it?
I have to actually. See, now the problem is I have to remember most of them because we had so many fucking games on our Wii. Most of them weren't even just mine. Most of them were actually ones that we generally owned as a family.
That's fair. So my brother had a Wii, and he knew a guy. he knew a guy who was like, "Yo, you want every game? You want all of them?"
Oh,
this.
Hang on, I got one. The Wii port for Budokai Tenkaichi 3. For Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Yeah, no, die in that hill. Awful.
Fuck you.
Fucking awful.
Fuck you. I want to actually make my Kamehameha motions. Fuck you. Hell, that was the reason I like the Wii port for the fucking Force Unleashed. I actually got to wave the lightsaber around like I'm fighting with it.
Oh, fucking awful. That's so bad.
Look, that's as close to fucking VR as we got. Motion control was like the predecessor for VR.
Yeah, and it was bad.
Okay, the Kinect was bad.
The Kinect was the worst of them. But the Wii was also bad.
It was nowhere near as bad as the PS Move or the fucking Kinect.
Okay, the Move was literally just a camera.
Was literally a camera, and you had a little wand that you waved around for it.
Here's the thing.
Was literally a fucking magic wand.
I completely forgot the Move existed. I was thinking the iToy for the PS2. Because I absolutely forgot that the Move was a thing.
That was the PlayStation's answer for the Wii.
Oh, awful. It's all bad. Motion controls suck. All of them. Even gyro controls suck. I don't want to have to twist my controller around to make a turn. Shut up. Let me use the D-pad or the analog stick. Give me buttons.
Look, I'm different on that, okay? I'm
built incorrectly.
constructed alternatively. I am constructed alternatively.
I use recycled metals.
They pulled a lot of the parts from the spare junk box. I think at one point I saw them grab the brain from something called the idiot box.
Oh my god. Built C-3PO like.
Built like a droid.
Built like a droid a child on a fucking sand planet made.
Constructed robotically.
Oh, fuck.
Fucking goddamn it, dude.
Oh, so fucking dumb. Anyway,
Yeah,
back to X2.
So yeah, X2 ended up fighting his way through the Imperial occupation on Bespin. He helped Calrissian and saved his cyborg compatriot Lobot, and ended up liberating the whole city, and would also end up helping intercept some Imperial forces that were escaping, including a group of Dark Troopers.
Ooh. Can't have them. They gotta go.
Nope, they gotta go. Kyle Katarn made sure they gotta go.
They gotta go.
He blew up the whole factory just to make sure.
Yep. Somehow the Dark Trooper returned.
But after Cloud City, X2 went on to continue serving the New Republic and would continue his search for his brother, arriving to track his forces to Dathomir. Because it always comes back to...
planet.
We've heard plenty about that planet, Jake. We have a whole series about that planet. We've talked about it a few times now, because it keeps coming back.
Dathomir's the new Tatooine.
The difference is we don't get to actually see it as much.
No.
It's mentioned a lot. We don't get to see it a whole lot. I wonder if that's the reason they brought Ventress back, is they're going to try to pull Ventress back in for the whole big thing with Thrawn coming up. That would be awful.
Yeah.
But that is totally something Filoni will do.
Make Kyle Katarn canon, cowards.
One of the few things he hasn't done.
That was a lot of alliteration, and I'm here for it too. Kyle Katarn canon, cowards.
Now, apparently X1 had a base on the planet, and Grey Squadron arrived landing in the swamp to avoid detection by the heavy security of X1's base. Now, keynote here. We are foregoing the fact that apparently this, I assume, is during the point of, as far as I'm aware, this is during the point of post-Zinj. And I'm going to go on the limb and assume that this is post-Zinj, which means the Empire has come and taken the planet already, or they had a secret base on the planet outside of New Republic purview.
Okay. That's if Zinj ever existed to begin with.
Zinj existed. He happened. I should know. I'm leading his forces.
Zinj was real to me, damn it.
He was real to me. The Zinj is real.
Zinj is real. Oh, it sucks.
Oh,
I hate it here. How dare you?
I'm glad I could I'm glad I could add some of my own cringe to your life.
Oh, I'm the cringe one here. How dare you?
Look, I have to show my own skills. You can't be the only one. Look, there, I have to have my own moments. Damn it! You can't be the only one. I'm the zoomer here. I'm the zoomer here, you millennium.
Oh, perish in a fire. The fire built on Grinch. Oh, man.
Oh. Fuck,
That hit me way harder than it should have. Fuck you. Oh.
Fuck.
God, that sucks so bad. Oh. Talk more about Star Wars. We need to leave this place.
It's bad here. It's bad here, just like Dathomir.
Nice segue.
So yeah, X2 led Grey Squadron to Dathomir, hunted down X1's base that he had on the planet. Discovered that he had been working on something on the planet. They took speeder bikes to the base, and then it was there X2 started sensing the high potence of dark side, where he was then attacked by Night Sisters.
I'll go figure.
And he would go on to face more of the... He would go on to enter X1's lair in his base, and would be confronted by a Night Sister matriarch riding a Rancor.
Hell yeah.
And after he would slay both the Rancor and the matriarch, he would regroup with some of his members of Grey Squadron, and they would proceed further into the base, and found X1 had been experimenting with clones.
No, not like this.
Once again, everything comes back to cloning.
Always, dude. Star Wars is freaky about clones, dude.
Really, really, really horny for their clones. Their fan base and the fan base and the writers.
Dude, think of all the possibilities you can have when it comes to clones. You can have Palpatine come back.
Again.
And
As again.
Another clone. Again.
But despite exposing the experiment, he had learned that his brother had already left the base, and the Night Sisters had taken it over. So the location of the base seemed to this is where I kind of also throw in the idea that this was after Zinj period. This is after they've killed Zinj, because the base is abandoned. So it's very clear that he's been messing with this shit for a while. He would go and break it. He'd then go to retrieve some of the data from X1's office, and would also go about finishing the mission with the discovery that some Imperials had infiltrated the facility and placed det packs on the X-Wings of Grey Squadron, killing a few of their members.
Det packs would do.
Two of these were actually named. Tavoy, Watkins, and Ryder were the names of the two. Were some of the names of two members killed.
Oh man, not Ryder from the hit video game Mass Effect Andromeda. Silence speaks volumes. I'm taking the cringe back, baby. It's mine again.
The cycle comes back full circle. Yeah, they do actually capture the saboteur, and they learn by mind tricking the man that he had already been trained against such methods. This actually caused X2 to take a slip on the dark side for a moment, and he ended up force choking the Imperial. They'd realizing that the Empire had become aware of their presence, they had escaped the planet. However, a Imperial class Star Destroyer had already arrived there, and a battle ensued. They would ultimately they were determined to destroy the Star Destroyer, ultimately bringing it down alongside its entire TIE fighter escort, bringing the whole ship down above the planet. They escaped and would later learn that X1 had proclaimed himself a Sith Lord by this point, and had sought to learn the secrets of the dark side. To this end, he had traveled to the planet Vajun and had occupied Bast Castle, the former residence of the late Darth Vader, because in canon, Vader's castle may have been on Mustafar. In Legends, it was in fact on Vajun. Which is actually one of the locations you go to in Jedi Academy, if I remember correctly. I think you actually...
The name sounds familiar, but I cannot...
It was an old Jedi world. It was the home of... It was a planet of an old Jedi temple, and was actually a pretty prominent one in the Clone Wars. Vajun had a pretty big battle over it in the Clone Wars, and... it was where Vader in Legends had claimed to make his castle from the location of this big fortress building. Because that was actually where, because Vader actually had, you actually fight some Noghri assassins who are guarding it.
Oh, that's dope.
When you go there in Jedi Academy, you actually fight some of the you actually fight some Noghri assassins who are still loyal to Vader. He had left some Noghri there to guard the castle, and you got, because that's where you actually I think that's actually where you discover Rosh Pennon has turned to the dark side. And it's where you actually see him having fallen, is at Vajun.
I mean, probably.
It's one of the planets you go to, because there's a few you go to in that game. You go to a few worlds in that game. But yeah, no, Vajun was definitely one of those, because I do remember one of the missions was you were looking for a relic in Vader's castle, was I think why you were going there. Because at this point you have actually reforged your saber, because the one you basically had found, you basically were running around with that, and that got destroyed when you fought what's her face on Hoth. She breaks your saber and escapes when Kyle shows up.
Okay.
And then you reforge your saber, and that's where you get the option to just remake the single blade, or you get to make the dual wield or double blade.
No, you get the double blade, and then you kill Rosh with it.
See, I always went for dual wield. I went for dual wield my first run. But I'm also the monster who prefers dual wielding in that one. I'm the absolute fucking menace who dual wields the hell and back in that game.
Just give me a double-bladed. They're so fucking cool.
See, I have learned that through the knowledge of some of the later material of Star Wars, that the split saber is definitely the way to go. Go from dual wield to double blade. Fuck them up.
I mean, yeah. If that's an option, that's obviously the best option.
Is the best option because you get the best of both worlds.
If you can't do that, then just straight double blade.
Yeah.
I had an argument with my coworker forever ago, like a million years ago, about how double blade is just the better way to go, because you can always have two points of attack going forward at the same time, whereas the double bladed, you only get 1 point of attack each time. And I was like, yeah, true, but fuck you. I understand what you're saying and I agree with it, but fuck you.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Stick. Give me my stick.
I mean, that's basically how you fight with the double blade. It's polearm fighting.
Yeah.
You're effectively fighting with what is equivalent to a polearm, rather than, it's not a spear per se, but it is definitely like a staff that you're, like a bow staff.
Yeah, give me my stick. I want to whack people with this stick and make their parts fall off because it's a lightsaber.
Which means when I whack them, instead I'm actually slashing them.
That's right.
Honestly,
it's a slashing stick.
See, and a lot of people would try to argue that the double-bladed sword bit doesn't work. I argue you're stupid.
I argue rule of cool. Shut up, though.
Your Honor, shut the fuck up. You wasn't even there. Dude, double blade anything is just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Double blade spear, double blade axe, double blade lightsaber. Fuck. So I even argue the defense of the double-headed scythe. Like, get the scythe on both ends. That shit would be fucking dope as hell.
Here's the thing. Those weapons, really impractical. They all look cool, though.
But you can make them work if you know how to adapt them. That's the real trick. It's just adapting them with the idea that you're fighting with what is effectively a polearm rather than fighting them in their normal style. You're adopting a polearm head. You're changing the head of the polearm, essentially, is effectively what you do when you make a double-bladed weapon like that.
Yes, except polearms are mostly used for thrusting, not so much slashing.
Well, sweeping motions also happen, so fuck you.
True. Which means the scythe is the least viable of them. Because that means not only do you have to have sweeping motions, you also have to have them within the reach of the scythe. So you have to go past them in order to do it. I would say that what the fuck is it?
Well, if you do the scythe, the scythe would be a reverse. It'd be a reverse blade on the other end anyway. So effectively, you're just fighting it. You're effectively fighting it the same way you would the double-bladed axe, the double-headed axe, rather than you would a normal scythe. You'd be swinging it around with the intent to swing with both ends. And the way the scythe would curl, if you can get used to the angle right, you'd be able to swing it just enough that that the blade edge curls right up over your shoulder rather than just coming down over your shoulder.
Yeah, go ahead.
It works the same way as the axe would, because you'd be swinging the axe around, and that'd be the same way you'd use the axe. The double-bladed axe would work the same way.
Well, double-bladed axe, you can just bite into them. You don't have to go past them.
Exactly, and in this case,
you'd still have to go a little bit farther in order to get them with the cutting edge. We are way off track.
Look, when do we not go off track?
I was sitting there like, you were talking about Star Wars, meanwhile on my other monitor I'm looking up Egyptian axes, because that's what I'm thinking of. Like,
dude, we are
way off course.
Dude, maintaining course has never been the fucking focus on this podcast. We go off the rails too often, dude.
This thing? This is the thing. There you go. This would be the perfect double-bladed weapon. Where's Discord? I need to send this to you. This would be the perfect double-bladed weapon. If you wanted something like an axe or a scythe or something, just use that.
Yeah. That's pretty much how you would use. Pretty much the style weapon you use the axe for anyway.
Yeah. It'd be even better if it went all the way around. It was just a ring shape.
Yeah.
And you could stab and slash, and not have to worry about like, oh fuck, I went a little too far and I'm hitting him with the stick.
Yeah, it's the same sort of logic in this case. It's fun to it's fun in the look, and if you're able to make it work, fuck it, more power to you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, yeah, so X1 has made his base on, has made his way to Vajun and was trying to get to Vader's castle. X2 arrives and takes out some of the security satellites in order to avoid detection. He ends up reaching the planet by boarding a Star Destroyer and would then proceed to slice the mainframe of the Star Destroyer to access its logs, indicating that X1 was no longer on Vajun already and had already taken the Sith holocron inside. Luke had actually hoped to determine X1's location by analyzing the holocron. However, after reaching the planet's surface and dealing with a starfighter garrison, X2 infiltrated Baz Castle inside, and he was forced to fight against droid bodyguards that the late Vader had used for sparring. Well, inside the castle, X2 also received intelligence from Skywalker, and he would go and find out that X1 had been keeping Fallon Gray's lightsaber in Vader's trophy room. He claimed the weapon and would proceed to reach the meditation chamber, obtain the holocron, I guess, another holocron. Or no, he left the holocron. He didn't actually take the holocron. They found out that he had left a holocron inside the castle, and that's what they were going in to grab.
Gotcha.
And through this data, and X2 manages to go out and escape on a TIE bomber before more droids could arrive. They use the information on the holocron and tracked X1 to Mustafar, where the self-proclaimed Sith Lord had officially made himself a warlord. He'd been building his own power base on the Molten Planet, and when X2 arrived with Gray Squadron to confront X1 and rescue Skywalker, who had already tried to deal with X2, who had already been trying to deal with him, Luke got captured in the process of this, and reaching the orbit of the planet, they would come across a Super Star Destroyer in orbit, because, as stated before, you cannot be a warlord unless you're Thrawn without a fucking Super Star Destroyer at your backing.
Yep.
Unless you are Thrawn, you cannot fucking be a warlord without a Super Star Destroyer.
That's because Thrawn was like, I can make a regular Star Destroyer just as frightening as a Super Star Destroyer. And everyone else was like, no, but bigger, better, though.
It's fucking insane. But, yeah, no, they get there, they blow up the Super Star Destroyer, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
And
A-wing right into the fucking bridge.
And they get to they arrive at the planet where X1 and X2 have their final confrontation. X1 having been fully corrupted and disfigured by the dark side.
Yep.
After a duel, X1 retreated to the planet's surface, where he had boarded a TIE Advanced X1, much like Vader's TIE Advanced. X2 chased him to the planet, and on the surface, he had rejoined Gray Squadron inside the crusted wreck of a Venator-class Star Destroyer. Don't know how one of those got there, but it's there.
It's there because it's cool.
From which they began to make raids onto the Imperial positions. They took out the deflector shield, allowing the Y-Wings to bomb X1's defenses, and soon they met inside one of the large complexes. After yet another duel, X1 retreated, but not before releasing a swarm of cloned Wookiees.
Oh no!
X2 then proceeds to kill all of the cloned Wookiees and chased X1 further into the complex, arriving at a mining platform where their true final battle would begin. X2 faced off against his brother in this last point and was able to very much overpower X1 in this final confrontation. The latter asked his brother to kill him, but X2, abiding by the Jedi Code, refused to do so, intending to send his brother to the spice mines of Kessel, where he would serve a sentence as prisoner of the New Republic. And then, in a final act, X1 manipulated his dropped lightsaber with the Force to kill X2. X2 jumped over the saber and would cause X1 to be impaled on his own blade.
You got fucking Frieza'd?
He got Frieza'd.
God damn it! What a fucking jobber!
Yeah. Though, in Frieza's case, it was Goku flew over it instead of just jumping over, and Frieza didn't bother to check which way that fucking last disc was going.
Dumb as shit, dude. Ugh.
This one was...
Pizza, dude.
He doesn't even really get cut. The also difference is he doesn't get cut in half. He just gets stabbed through the chest by his own saber.
He didn't even die in a cool way.
He kind of goes out a bit.
It's the way cooler way.
He goes out kind of like a bitch.
Ugh.
He goes out like a bitch.
Okay. So,
of course, the idea, it's kind. I guess you'd also kind of look at it like a differing way that Snoke kind of goes out, because Snoke's wrapped up in his own fucking dialogue, thinking that Kylo's gonna kill Rey on the spot, but in this instance, he tries to use his discarded saber in order to try to trick his brother. Like, it's almost like using the force pull to, retrieving the saber with the force, but in an effort to try to trick your opponent. It's not actually a technique you really see many people do. This is why.
So, during the course of our conversations...
Yes.
Or these podcasts...
Mm-hmm.
99% of villains go out like absolute shitlords.
Yep.
It's kind of depressing.
It's not great. Yeah, it's not the best.
Especially the ones in movies.
Especially the ones in movies.
I'm trying to think, like, okay, who dies cool?
Most of the cool deaths will actually start popping up when we get to once we actually start talking Old Republic, we get a lot more like cool villain deaths in those.
Yeah. Okay, so Maul, quote unquote, died.
Yeah.
In the movies.
In
cool.
Legends, he goes out. Legends, he quote unquote dies, and in canon, he also dies.
Yeah, but like those are like impactful, meaningful deaths. Those are cool.
You know, because even though Maul got basically one-tapped by Obi-Wan, it was still like it. At that point, Maul was more or less just trying to fulfill. He was more or less just trying to see if it was even worth pursuing anymore.
Yeah.
Because at this point, he had nothing left to pursue.
And then let's see. So that was 1. Who was the villain in 2? Grievous. Grievous died like a jobber.
Grievous dies like a jobber.
3.
I mean, Grievous actually does get a pretty fucking, like... He gets fucking, like, decimated by his own weapon. Like, it's not even, like, lightsaber death. He tries to get Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan takes his blaster from him and basically burns out his chest cavity because he breaks open his fucking chest cavity where his vitals are all stored beneath that armor and starts whacking him with his fucking blaster, popping shots into his chest and blowing him up.
Yep.
It
sounds like a chopper.
It's another fucking. I personally think the way it happens is way it kind of goes is like I'd almost say it's a reverse of Obi-Wan's way he kills them all, because in that one Obi-Wan. What is it? I wouldn't even say it's a reverse. It's a mirror, but he doesn't actually bother to pick himself up from the ledge. In this one, he just grabs the blaster, shoots Grievous.
Yeah.
Like,
Grievous is like, Grievous... I have 4 lightsabers, I'm super cool, and then it's just, pew, you're dead. Dumbass.
I mean, by that point, he's not even using the sabers. Neither of them have their lightsaber by that point.
Grievous is fucking bad.
Because Grievous takes a fucking Magna Guard. He takes an Electro Staff and tries to kill Obi-Wan with it.
And, okay, who was in... Rise of the Sith? Not right.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that's where Grievous dies, but we also get Dooku's death where he gets his fucking head cut off.
Yeah. Do it. Like a bitch.
Fucking bitch.
And then what is it? New Hope.
New Hope would be Obi-Wan's death, where he goes out on his own terms.
Yep. Kinda cool.
Tarkin also dies in that movie because he goes up in flames with the Death Star.
Yep.
Along with 6 of the 12 Grand Admirals.
And then
Admiral Yularen. Admiral Yularen also dies in that battle.
Empire Strikes Back. I think that's
Empire Strikes Back. No, Yoda doesn't die until Return of the Jedi.
Right. Okay. So
there's no character death.
Dies.
There's no
Empire Strikes Back.
Ozzel dies. Ozzel dies, and there's a couple Imperial officers that get offed in that movie.
Yeah, they're nobodies.
But of any actual named characters, no. There's nobody who actually dies in that movie.
And then there's Return of the Jedi.
That's Vader. Palpatine and Yoda all die in that movie, and Jabba. Jabba dies in that movie too.
Jabba dies.
Jabba gets Jabba gets choked out by the chain he had Leia tied to.
Yep, dies like a bitch. Boba Fett at the time died like a bitch.
Then he comes back not once, but twice. He does actually. He pulls himself out of the fucking Sarlacc pit 3 times.
Yeah, it sucks. And then. Emperor dies like a bitch.
He gets thrown into the fucking.
He gets hucked over a railing and falls to his death. It sucked.
Yeah. Vader goes out because he threw Palpatine off the ledge.
Yup. Yoda is like, I'm old now, and just goes away.
Yoda hits him with the Oogway. My time has come.
And then
bitch, I'm 900 years old. Let me fucking rip.
Let me die. And then what is it? The first one's called Rise of Skywalker, right?
First one is Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
That's Han. Han dies in that one.
Han dies. like a bitch, unfortunately.
Fucking fortunately,
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Just absolutely
the fucking sequels kill all of your heroes in the worst fucking way. It sucks so much.
Yeah, because Akbar gets fucking blasted out in Last Jedi. He gets killed in the fucking explosion on the bridge of the Radis when when the TIE fighters that were escorting Kylo hit it. Kylo doesn't even pull the trigger on that one because he senses Leia on board.
Yeah. And then
the TIE
Leia
fighters
dies because she's fucking
Leia
sick
dies
from being in space.
Leia dies later. Leia basically goes out as the way of getting Kylo to wake the fuck up.
So fucking dumb.
She kills herself to make her son realize,
and then,
fuck you, you little shit.
That was 2?
That was Rise of Skywalker. That's the last one, because the only other main guy who dies in Phasma dies in Last Jedi as well.
Bitch.
Like a fucking jobber.
Like a fucking jobber, dude. Literally to the point where it's like Phasma who? Like who the fuck is that?
Who is you? Who is you?
Whose man's is this?
Then Luke goes out basically by projecting himself through the Force.
It sucks, dude. I made myself a Force ghost prematurely to make you fucking, to fool you. Ha ha ha. Now I'm dead. Fucking awful. 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 Rise of Skywalker. Snoke dies like a jobber.
No, Snoke dies in Last Jedi too.
That's what I meant.
Because Snoke dies in The Last Jedi too, because that's before Luke dies.
Yep. Oh fuck. Okay. Really?
Yeah, because Luke dies towards the end of the movie.
Oh, right, because the villain in the third one is Palpatine again. Right.
Yeah, because Palpatine comes back. Because Palpatine returned.
Yup. Dies like a bitch again.
He gets zapped by his own lightning after absorbing the light.
Again?
Yeah.
You think that motherfucker would learn?
Force lightning is not the answer. Just take him on in a lightsaber duel, you fucking coward.
God, sure. You have to. You are essentially the strongest Force user. Just crush them.
Their windpipes destroy them.
It's not that hard. I'm gonna hit you with lightning. I hope you don't know what Mace Windu did. Huh? Oh shit, you know what Mace Windu did. No! Just stop shooting the lightning. Turn the lightning off. Just stop.
Turn off the lightning. There is a point where the lightning damage is too much.
Fuck, God,
The more he thinks about it, the more it hurts, chat.
Oh, it's bad. Okay, we need to get out of here. We need to leave.
That's kind of pretty much it. After X1 fucking gets stabbed by his own weapon, and then he basically falls off into the lava river. That's kind of how he dies. I mean, he doesn't even get that one off. He just kind of falls over and dies. After that, they save Luke, and after helping the New Republic and for all the work he did for the Rebels, X2 is officially made a Jedi Master by Luke. And that's pretty much their story in the very short summation of.
I think X2 was cooler.
X2 was cooler. He has a much better story to him, but that's also because you don't see X1 much after Dantooine. After they kill Fallon Gray and X1 leaves, that's like everything you see of him until Hoth.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. X2 is just the better brother.
He was, in fact, the better brother. Because he was smart enough not to try to get himself stabbed by his own weapon.
Fucking
God, what is with the Sith being like, I'm all powerful, and then dying or getting horribly maimed by their own shit?
Bad. It's bad out here.
You wanna know why that happens? Because writers are hacks. all writers are hacks.
I mean, I'd fight to the contrary, but you're not wrong.
if you put words on paper, hack right now.
Like, honestly, it's real bad, honestly. The way there's so many like poor ways characters in Star Wars go out, and this is unfortunately one of those. Like,
Bad. It's bad, and I wish it wasn't bad, but it is how it is.
I mean, again, we'll hopefully get some better. We'll get a lot better ones when we actually get into some of the Old Republic characters. There's some better characters in that one.
Old Republic characters are cool.
There's a lot of cool characters in there.
Legacy characters, they're pretty cool.
Legacy characters get a lot of really cool shit happen to them.
They a lot of cool shit happen to them, dude.
Legacy also gets really freaking like. Legacy takes the grittiness that Star Wars could be up to 11, though. Like it gets crazy.
Listen here, Disney.
It's wild. It's wild still because
I'm tired of space wizards. I'm tired of them.
Well, there's plenty of those in. Well, there's plenty of those in freaking Legacy era, but it's minimalized by the fact the Sith killed the Jedi again.
Yeah. Okay.
So this time it was more.
Said it once. Go ahead.
This time it was officially the Sith did it. It was not. Palpatine planned a like 30-year fucking execution method to wipe out the Jedi. You know, he planned a 30-year genocide scheme with some old dude and his spiked head pupil.
Yeah.
And this one, it was the crazy fucking tattooed spiked-headed Sith Lord who took over the galaxy. Like, they overthrew the Republic. Or the Galactic Alliance, which basically was their republic, essentially.
Yep.
And then you basically had two different empires fighting each other. Because by this point, the Galactic Alliance had faded. Like, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. So, Disney, what I want from you guys is more shit like Andor. If I see a lightsaber, I'm gonna be pissed. I want more just fucking regular ass people doing cool shit in Star Wars.
Yeah.
If I see a lightsaber, if I hear the word Skywalker, die. I'm mad. Stop it.
What is it? What do you have exactly against the Force users there, Jake?
What I have against them is they're all the same fucking character. They're all like, I have to be careful about what I do or I will fall to the dark side. Or it's, aha, I am the dark side. I am cartoon villain. Haha, here's my master plan. Shut up.
Yeah, again, this is why I'm very, very much hoping we get past these two. This is why I want to get into the later eras. I want to get into the earlier and the later eras.
I want people just doing like cool shit. I'm tired of like, because here's what happens. You have a group of cool people. They're doing cool shit. And the second you introduce a Force user, they're now the main character. Because they have special wizard powers, which just makes them better than you.
So here's the other question. Here's a point. Here's a point in difference that. What if they were already the main character?
If they were already the main character?
Yeah.
then get shit on. I want regular people doing cool shit. Because then it just evolves to, I have to use my Jedi powers for good, and I have to go through the same training arc as every other fucking Jedi ever to exist.
And your entire argument tells me even more that I think you will actually love the Legacy era.
I just want, like, fucking Glup Shido over here.
We'll get...
Just being a cool guy and be like, yes, I use a blaster and my brains instead of like magic.
I think the only drawback for you is, when we cover Legacy is the fact that it still involves a Skywalker.
Yes.
But
the Skywalkers have ruined the galaxy.
But I think you will actually kind of enjoy Cade Skywalker. I think you'll actually like Cade a lot more than any of the other Skywalkers. Because honestly, Cole Skywalker's kind of a bitch.
I love Luke Skywalker. I think he's a cool character. I like Anakin Skywalker. I think he's a cool character. I want to see other facets of characters that are not Skywalkers. Because you hear the word Skywalker, you're like, Jedi. Right off the bat, you're like, that's a Jedi right there. They've got the Skywalker name.
Well, when we get to Talking Old Republic, we won't have any of them, but we'll have a shit ton of fucking space wizards.
So many space wizards.
A lot of
Give me
wizards.
Batman, but Star Wars. I want a dude who just has a bunch of gadgets.
Pretty sure that's what they tried to do with Mandalorian, and then they introduced a child.
Ooh, Grogu ruined Mandalorian.
And the worst part is Favreau knew exactly what he was doing when he introduced that character.
Oh.
In his own quote, too. They knew what they were doing when they made that character. They knew full well what they were doing.
I like the first season of Mandalorian.
Huh.
Even at some points the second season.
Yeah.
But once it started being like, the Mandalorian, the guy the show is named after, that guy, he is now a side character in his own fucking show.
Yep.
I don't care about Grogu. I don't give a fuck about what's-her-face. Oh my god, what the fuck is her name?
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. I don't care about Bo-Katan. Be like, I'm the rightful heir of the Mandalorian. Shut up! Give me cool dude who doesn't remove his mask. Just doing cool bounty hunting shit. Fuck, give it to me. I'm throwing like a child's temper tantrum about
I know you are. I know you are. But then again, that's typical for Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans are known to fucking throw temper tantrums like children.
I'm almost ready to just get on the floor and just start flailing around. Oh, dude. Oh, the only thing stopping me from doing that is because I'm too old and getting up's gonna hurt. I would do it for the bit, but I don't feel good, and I know it's gonna suck once I get down there.
Well, regardless, that's pretty much all we. I think that's all we've got for this week, everybody. I think that's everything for this one. So our last podcast of 2024. We covered a couple pretty obscure characters for this one.
They're obscure, however, they are relevant.
Obscurely relevant.
Because of what's happening in the fandom.
Obscurely relevant. Also hopes that they tied into our topic of Imperial Warlords, because X1 goes on and becomes a warlord.
Yep. The shortest lived warlord ever.
No, we can't make that claim. That's not a claim that's viable to X1 here. There are shorter-lived warlords. Because we gotta remember, X1 doesn't die till after Dark Empire has happened.
I can make that claim. Because I don't know the shortest-lived warlord.
We've technically talked about who the shortest-lived one is.
Yeah, during our
Zinj episode.
Quick summary of... I mean...
It was in our Zinj episode. We technically talked
right.
about him there.
I almost forgot that episode happened because it was
a
short.
What was his name? Fuck. I can actually look back through my notes real quick. I'm gonna look through my notes real quick and see if I can fucking find that fucker. Because I know he is one of the guys that we've already talked. We talked about him and we talked about him and Screed. Oh fuck, what was his name? What the fuck was his name? I don't want to fucking get it wrong because I know there's another one. I'm thinking of a fucking totally different dude right now, and I'm not about to fucking mess that one up. Zinj notes. Run through page after page. My sword. What the fuck are this? Here we go.
Oh, I sword. Oh, my heart be still.
Alright, here he is. Nigel Nivers. That was the fucker.
Nigel?
Nigel Nivers was the name of the shortest-lived warlord. He had attained warlord status for a day before they took him out.
Well, yeah, his name's fucking...
Actually, he had it for less than 24 hours. He was warlord for less than a day.
Oh, that sucks so bad.
Rogue Squadron came in and deleted his shit.
Footnote in history.
Not even. Barely a footnote in history.
A speed bump on the way to grandeur that is Rogue Squadron.
Yep. And I don't even think it was... No, it was Rogue Squadron. I don't even know if it was Rogue or Wraith Squadron that took him out. I don't remember. It was one of the two that I know for a fact was there that took him out.
Imagine being a warlord and losing to one squadron of fighter pilots.
And then losing your entire planet and all the territory you had to two totally different warlords.
Oh my god.
Because his territory got absorbed by Zinj. His followers went to serve another warlord named NX Debian. We're pretty sure we will probably end up covering, because his name pops up a lot in a lot of this shit. So I think he may be someone we're covering alongside some of the other minor characters from this stuff.
All right,
but
so I'm adding Nigel to the jobbers list.
Jobbers list. Yeah,
we should have an episode at some point where it's Star Wars Greatest Jobbers.
We'll do a ranking video of it.
A tier list for jobbers.
Tier list of Star Wars most infamous jobbers.
If you're S rank, you're fucking Nigel.
S rank's Nigel.
Jobber, dude.
S rank is Nigel. What would be our like bottom rank then? If your top rank is Nigel Nivers, who's your fucking bottom rank?
Bottom rank? Fucking...
I guess you'd have to be like one of the more relevant cool characters who've gone out like jobbers.
The Hux.
Think Hux is you think Hux is on the bar here?
Like a jobber.
Cause he...
No! The guy who went out like a jobber was the dude in that really, really big, like, fucking super dreadnought bullshit that got fucking hyperspaced. That guy. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. He might be S tier too. Fuck that guy.
And we'll have to have a whole fucking discussion about that at some point.
Who went out the least jobberly? Not Deshaun. Deshaun was a jobber. Dog. It's so hard. They're all
Jarek,
S-rank, dude.
Jarek, I think, went out pretty fucking handedly. Jarek, I think, had Jarek, the Quizzer from Dark Forces 2.
Yep.
I think he had a pretty big fucking death moment to him. I think his death was pretty fucking non-jobberish.
Yes. Okay, so here what we're gonna so it can't be a tier list of just jobbers. It have to be a tier list of villains who have died or characters in Star Wars that have died, and like instead of like F tier, it's just jobber. Because then we can be like, this guy died the coolest, and then you go all the way down and like the jobber list is just the rest of it. It's like S tier, died the coolest, nothing in between, all jobbers.
The way you're making it sound, the more it sounds like we're just doing a Star Wars death tier list.
I'm down with that.
We could do that. I have no qualms about trying to set that up to do that.
That sounds extra stupid. I'm so down for a Star Wars death tier list.
Do a fucking Star Wars death tier list. Fuck it. I don't care. We can do that. We'll fucking do that.
Oh man, it's gonna be great.
Do that. Fuck it. I'll do it next week. I don't give a shit.
Fuck, we're doing it live. Let's go.
Do a live tier list rating. Live tier list ranking. I'll post it on the fucking post it on my Discord, and I'll post it on the fucking community board. This is the tier list for this is our tier list for Star Wars death, for character death in Star Wars.
From coolest to most jobber like. Oh man. I'm so down. I'm for this. I'm for this. I like fucking around doing weird tier lists anyway, so this works for me. I like doing stupid tier lists like this anyway. So, great.
yeah, well,
good times.
We're doing that, and we're doing that as our first plot. We're doing that as our first episode of 2025. This is how we kick off 2025 with the podcast, people.
Oh yeah. 2025. Who died the shittest?
Yep. And while I will announce it at the book club, I will also say that next month's we will have next month's book club read for. I'll go ahead and declare it here first. Our book for next month is going to be the first of the Rogue Squadron novels. We'll be doing the first of the X-Wing novels. Rogue Squadron will be our podcast. Be our first book club episode of 2025. That'll be the episode for that will be on the 26th. Will be the day we do that episode. So for those who are 1 month. And of course tomorrow we will be doing our big review of Thrawn. So we'll get to actually talk about that one, and I'm excited. One, because I really liked the X-Wing novels. That whole series I think ranks in its own category in my top 10 list. My whole top 5 list actually, because those are easily some of my favorite of the Legends EU novels. The X-Wing series is by far one of my favorites.
Hell yeah.
So we'll be doing the X-Wing Rogue Squadron novel, starting that up, and next week will be our Star Wars. We're doing a fucking tier list of Star Wars deaths for next week. Get ready for some stupid ones.
Get ready for hot takes.
Ready for a lot of hot takes.
And a lot of like lukewarm takes, because some of them are just obviously jobbers.
Some of these are obviously jobbers. Others are like, how did you even do this? How did you let this happen?
How did you? Are you just dumb? Yes.
You're just that stupid. Got it.
Heads the pearly gates. How'd you die? I was an idiot. Okay.
I was the dumb. But hope you all enjoy. I hope to see you all in the hope to see you all next year, technically. See you all after the new year, and see you all at the podcast episode tomorrow. Yep. Also, if you are going to be around for it or not, Jake, Helldivers tonight?
Yeah, I should be around.
Hey, we do some Helldiving Helldiving on Saturday. Of course, also check out all the playthroughs, Zinj and Thrawn's Revenge, my CIS playthrough in Awakening of the Clone Wars, and my 2 Total War playthroughs of both Gorbad and Skull Taker, both of which are hitting off into very interesting points, because Skull Taker just took out the Jade Court, so that's going to be interesting where we go from here. I don't know which direction I want to take that one yet. CIS playthrough, I've got that one figured out, and we just took the core in the Zinj playthrough. We are going to be working on that and expanding our 2 new battle groups in that one. Also, we should see... Also going to see 2 new playthroughs coming out over the course of the next couple weeks, probably. Well, one returning playthrough and one a new playthrough. Also, before the end of this year, I think when, let me see here. Let me see here. What day does it fall on this year? And we'll do it on the, fucking set. On that one. So, there is, whenever the release for Revan's Revenge comes out, I think I will have decided on, I think I'll have a special thing coming up for the podcast side, because I think when we get Revan's Revenge will be the stark sign that maybe we start digging into Old Republic.
Ooh.
And I want to do something extra special for that. So stay tuned for when we finally get to covering that. That may be our next string, maybe our next topic line once we finally wrap up the Warlords. Because we're actually nearly done with most of these. It's mainly just the other 3 minor Warlords. Dark Empire, Karnor Jackson, the Crimson Empire, and Dala and Paleon. Those are the only ones we really have left to cover. So
I love Paleon.
we'll have a bit to cover through this one. We still got a little bit, but after our tier list, I do want to get us back to wrapping that up so we can finally move topics. Because after we finally wrap up the last Warlord, I want us to take a step all the way back to a time before any Skywalkers, a time before any of that.
The land before time, even.
The land before Skywalkers. A galaxy before Skywalkers. A time where things were great for everybody except the people living in that universe.
Yeah, it was a good time, unless you're living in it.
It's like 40K. It's just like 40K.
Oh no!
It's a great time unless you were living it.
Yep. Oh.
But on the thing in the Old Republic, we will also be hopefully picking up that series again, because I do want us to make the jump back to that, especially with the new story content for the expansions dropping. 7.6 dropped recently, along with a bunch of stuff, and I want to also be doing some special stuff on the side, so we will have that to play around. We'll have some of that to play around with, and hope you all will tune in for what is in store when we finally do cover Old Republic in our podcast. But until then, this has been the Freelancer signing off. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.